Everybody, and welcome back to more political chatter. In this video, we will be talking about my updated 2024 election prediction and how my rating has changed. Not in just one state or a couple states, well, yes, in one state, but more importantly, who I believe the winner of the 2024 presidential election will be has changed yesterday. You might have seen this community post that I published yesterday about how, again, my official 2024 election rating has changed from Donald Trump winning with 278 electoral votes to Joe Biden winning re-election with 271 electoral votes. You need 270 to win, so that's just one more than the necessary amount that you need to win. And he beats Trump by just 4 electoral votes. If this were to play out, this would be a historically incredibly close election that would be remembered really forever. And the track that it's going on right now, it's looking like it will be, even if this prediction isn't 100% correct, it's really looking like it will be just about this close, and no election has been decided by just 4 electoral votes. Even the famously close ones, like 1960, Kennedy versus Nixon, or even 2000 with Bush versus Gore, they weren't decided by just 4 electoral votes. So I definitely believe that this election will be historically, or importantly, close, narrow, electoral count wise, and popular vote wise. But my rating has changed, and that is because of the state of Arizona. So, I've been talking about Arizona for a while now, and it is the state in 2024 that I am the most uncertain about. I really don't, for a while, I've really been lost on characterizing Arizona, and I could only come up with that it would be a toss up. I was really just guessing who would win the state of Arizona. But after this abortion ruling from the Arizona Supreme Court, and with this ballot measure, with this, there will likely, it's not certain, but there will most likely be a ballot measure on the Arizona ballot this, in November, in the general election, right next to the presidential election, on that same ballot, about this abortion issue. And I think that with voters across the country overwhelmingly choosing the pro-choice side every time it is on the ballot, I think that this will boost Biden and the Democrats enough so that Biden does actually win the state of Arizona, despite winning it by just 0.2%, 0.3, I think, actually, percent in 2020. That was just 11,000 votes, and I think that he would win it by just about the same margin. And I also think that Donald Trump would be able to hold on to the state of North Carolina. I don't think that Biden's efforts in the state would be enough to flip it. And I also think that Trump would, as of now, if the election were held tomorrow, would flip Georgia, Nevada, and Wisconsin. Wisconsin went to Biden by just 0.6% in 2020. Georgia went to him famously by just 16,000 votes, or 15,000 or 14,000, whatever. That was just 0.2% of the vote. And Nevada actually went to him by 2.4%, which is a pretty healthy margin, considering how close the state usually is. But I do believe that Biden's weakness among Latino voters will be extremely apparent in a state like this, and Nevada is really trending towards the right rapidly, and I think it would be enough for Trump to pull out a very narrow tilt victory. When it comes to Georgia, again, he's losing African American voters, especially to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. With Kennedy in the race, he will pull many African American voters away from Joe Biden. And then in Wisconsin, voters, especially here but across the Rust Belt, are very economically driven to the polls. I think that considering that it voted for Trump by the most, amount in 2016, and it voted for Biden by the least amount in 2020 of the blue wall states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, I think that this would be the one to flip back to Trump, if any do. But I think that Michigan, which went to him by 2.8% in 2020, and Pennsylvania, which went to him by 1.2% in 2020, I think they are just I think that Biden would be able to run strong enough campaigns in these states, especially in Pennsylvania. You've got the suburbs. He is really, as of now, running a campaign very directed towards suburban voters. He's talking about issues that would get suburban voters to vote for him. And I know there is the large protest vote against Biden in Michigan, as we saw in the Michigan Democratic primary. However, he won it by a good amount in 2020, 2.8%. That was a 150,000 vote margin, and I think that he really would be able to hold on to enough of his support, of his 2020 support, to keep the state blue. So that would put Joe Biden at 271 electoral votes and Donald Trump at 267, and he would win by 4 electoral votes. And this narrative, not a narrative, but the reality of Joe Biden turning the tide in this election has been demonstrated for quite a while now. On, today, Real Clear Politics has Donald Trump ahead in the popular vote by just 0.2%. That is so much less than what it was, just a month ago. I mean, this has been narrowing every single day. And this includes, now this average is a series of polls that Real Clear Politics considers accurate. But it does include this one poll from from the Rasmussen organization, the polling industry, which has Donald Trump ahead by 8%, when no other popular vote poll has Donald Trump anywhere near leading by 8%. So that is a clear outlier, and that is being included in this average. And when you don't include that Rasmussen poll, Joe Biden actually leads. Just to put that out there. But the point is, Biden is gaining on Donald Trump, and what we're actually seeing, very interestingly, is that the typical situation in presidential elections has flipped. Joe Biden, it seems like, may not win the popular vote, but still win the election, still win the electoral college. What we usually see is that the Democrats always win the popular vote, like Hillary did in 2016, like Al Gore did in 2000, but the Republicans win the electoral vote again, what happened in 2016 and 2000. But now, this time around, it's actually looking like due to Democrats' lack of enthusiasm for Biden, in heavily Democratic states like California and New York and Washington, and Massachusetts and New Jersey, etc., the Democratic turnout in these states, Illinois, might be depressed heavily, but Biden would still easily be able to carry those states. But he could actually maintain, depending on how good of a campaign he's running, he could actually maintain, most of his 2020 votes in the critical battleground states that actually matter. Their electoral votes actually matter, like Michigan, like Pennsylvania, like Arizona. So what that means is that, again, Biden can lose the popular vote, losing many Democratic votes in safe blue states, but win the Electoral College by carrying Arizona, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. That's all he needs. So, that would be very interesting to watch. And I talk about a lot how In this day in history, Biden led the popular vote by like 6 or 7 or 8% in some cases, 4 years ago back in 2020. But that really might not even mean much, surprisingly. Because, nationwide might be very different from swing states, actual battleground states. And then there's money. Now, this has really been the, over and over, this has really been the, not the silver lining, but the one positive, outcome of the Biden campaign. I mean, this is what they are doing right, is fundraising. He has $192 million cash on hand. $192 million. Now, I don't know how much you guys, not cover politics, but whatever, like watch videos like this, and how much you know about today's politics. But $192 million, even for a national campaign, is absolutely incredible. That is unheard of. This is record breaking, and there is nothing, or we have never seen anything like this in American history. $192 million is absolutely historic, and the Biden campaign is doing something right if this is the money that they're pulling in. I mean, they pulled in $26 million from one event in New York. It was one night, one event. They just spoke for a little bit. Biden, Obama, Clinton, and Stephen Colbert just spoke to a crowd, and that brought in $26 million. They are doing the fundraising right. And Donald Trump only has half of the amount of cash on hand that Biden has. He only has about like $95 million or so, almost $100 million. So Biden he has the resources to run a much better campaign than Trump, and he is only getting started. That's the thing. Trump is in full force, and he doesn't even have the money to go to take his campaign a step up. Biden, on the other hand, isn't even close to going all out with this money that he has. I mean, 3 months away from election day, or later, that 3 month period before election day, that is when we will see the Biden campaign go crazy. Now I wish I talked about this before when I was talking about polling, but here this is a better demonstration of how Biden is doing much better than he was before, according to polling. I mean, look at this. Look at these leads nationwide that Donald Trump had not too long ago. This is the start of the year. At one point, Donald Trump led on average by 3%, and this is a different collection of polls. This is than Real Clear Politics than what we were talking about before. He was briefly able to win the popular vote on average by just by about 0.5%. But then Donald Trump took it back. But now you could see on average he leads by 1%, according to this collection of polling. So the point is, I now think that Biden is favored to win. Now this is insane. Just a few months ago, 3 or 4 months ago, it was not looking like Biden, like, it really wasn't even looking like he could even come back by election day to win. Now, that was foolish. That was a foolish assumption made by me, looking back now, because clearly, only a few months later, it's looking like he is now favored to win the presidency. And yeah, I mean, the point is, if I had to guess, if the election was held tomorrow, I'd say that Biden wins. I'd say that Biden wins re-election. So thank you all for watching this video. Make sure you all go ahead and subscribe. That helped me out a lot. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment if you want. Leave a like. And I will see you all later.